Chapter 21. And the Lord remembered Sarah, as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. And Sarah conceived, and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bore to him, Ishiach. And Abraham circumcised his son Ishiach when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Ishiach was born unto him. And Sarah said, God hath made laughter for me. Every one that hears will laugh on account of me. And she said, Who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should give children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast on the day that Ishiach was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, whom she had borne unto Abraham, making sport. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Ishiach. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight on account of his son. And God said unto Abraham, Let it not be grievous in your sight because of the lad, and because of the bondwoman. In all that Sarah says unto you, hearken unto her voice, for in Ishiach shall seed be called to you. And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is your seed. And Abraham arose up early in the morning, and took bread and a bottle of water, and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and the child, and sent her away. And she departed, and strayed in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water in the bottle was spent. And she cast the child under one of the shrubs. And she went, and set her down over against him a good way off, as it were a bow shot. For she said, Let me not look upon the death of a child. And she sat over against him, and lifted up her voice, and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of God called to Hagar out of the heaven, and said unto her, What ails you, Hagar? Fear not, for God hath heard the voice of the lad, where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him fast by your hand, for I will make him a great nation. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went, and filled the bottle with water, and gave the lad drink. And God was with the lad, and he grew, and he went in the wilderness, and became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol, the captain of the host, spoke unto Abraham, saying, God is with you in all that you do. Now therefore swear unto me here by God that you will not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but according to the kindness that I have done unto you, you shall do unto me, and to the land wherein you have sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of the well of water, which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, I know not who hath done this thing, neither did you tell me, neither yet heard I of it, but today. And Abraham took sheep and oxen, and gave them unto Abimelech, and they two made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What mean these 7 ewe lambs which you have set by themselves? And he said, Verily, these 7 ewe lambs shalt you take of my hand, that it may be a witness unto me that I have digged this well. Wherefore the place was called Beersheba, because there they swore both of them. So they made a covenant at Beersheba, and Abimelech rose up, and Phicol, the captain of the host, and they returned into the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba, and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham sojourned in the land of the Philistines many days. All right, let's go back up, verse 1. Now, yesterday we had this story about Abimelech and how he took Sarah to be his wife. This Abimelech is the father of the king, or the king's father. We can look at it like that. But the similitude to that, what had happened to him in Egypt. Sarah said that she was his sister. Of course, she is, but not of the same mother. Wasn't born. Had the same father, but not the same mother. We'll find out. Abimelech gives back Sarah. He returns Sarah to Abraham, who was her husband. And she goes on her way. Little story, like I explained in Genesis. What we're trying to do is draw some forms of parallels in these stories to, because in some way they do have to do with everything that keeps continuing. Verse 1, and the Lord remembered Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. And the Lord remembered Sarah, when Sarah, the princess, Abraham's wife, the Lord here being that holy name, the presence of the powers and might itself, the Lord, that's his Shem, his name. He had said, and the Lord did he did what he said, and we remember before we had the story of Abimelech in there, that the Lord had spoken, saying, and he was going to give her a child. And this is what we're talking about, and it was going to be about that time when the angel had spoken unto Sarah. Remember, she laughed too. And Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. And Sarah conceived. She was with child, and she did bear Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time, or that prescribed period of time which God had spoken to him, or he told him. So it's about a year later, we'll find out from where we was before the story of Abimelech. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bore to him, Ishmael, or Isaac. And Abraham called his name of his son, that's the one that would go forth from him, that one who had the Shem, this one that was born unto Abraham. Abraham's the father of many nations, whom Sarah, that's his wife, would bear unto him is Ishmael. Ishmael means laughter, this laughing or this joy that comes from it. And Abraham circumcised his son Ishmael when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. And Abraham circumcised. And that was to keep that covenant, that agreement, we'll find out the Lord had made with Abraham from the beginning, his son, and what it was showing that that which hides has been removed. It's been exposed, or the head has, understanding has been exposed. It's in the earth, because we'll find out at that time there was no understanding of just who God was. But he circumcised his son, Yeshua, this one who laughs, when he was 8 days old. 8, it's always a new beginning. Day, it's a cycle. There's a little cycle there. It's a little bit of understanding. This would be there's a new beginning, some understanding in this, as God commanded him. Just because the circumcision stood for something, and it was a new beginning. That's as the Lord had commanded. 5, and Abraham was 100 years old when his son Ishmael was born unto him. And Abraham was 100 years old. 100 is judgment and the greater understandings of his age. And that when his son Ishmael, this one laughs, was born unto him. Ishmael's the one that goes forth to carry on that Shem, or the presence, the name itself, 6, and Sarah said, God hath made laughter for me. Every one that hears will laugh on account of me. And Sarah said, we find out this is what she said in her heart, that God hath made laughter for me. The Lord had told her that she did laugh, and she did laugh. Everyone that hears will laugh on account of me. And everyone that does hear, you hear the story of Sarah. She's 90-some years old, and she has born a child. And you think it's a funny thing. We'll find out. Sarah is the reflection of Abraham's understanding, and when we look at it in that aspect, it's not really as funny as one person might think. 7, she said, who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should give children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. And she said, now, who would have said unto Abraham, the father of many nations, that Sarah should give children suck, or nurse children? And we'll find out that the princesses, who Sarah is, she born a son in his old age, and Abraham's old age. 8. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast on that day, on the day that Isaac was weaned. And the child grew and was weaned. It was time to be removed from the breast. And this is when you would start to receive some knowledge or some understanding. Once you've been removed from the breast, you start to receive substance from the outside. And Abraham made a great feast on that day. And that's the day Isaac was weaned. So a great feast, set a great meal. There was a festival for the understanding that Isaac was weaned, this one who laughs, this one who brings that joy, we'll find out, and this is when he's weaned, and that's to be ready to receive some knowledge, be ready to receive some understanding, get ready to go forth. The weaning is the end of a preparation when one can begin to partake of some substance. 9. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, who she had borne unto Abraham, making sport. Sarah seen the son of Ishmael, of Hagar, this one who come forth from Hagar. Hagar means to flight, because this one who runs off, the Egyptian. Egyptian is that person from the place of Egypt, or it's a place of copse, crypts, graves, whatever you want to call it, whom she had borne unto Abraham. This is the one she had given birth to unto Abraham, the father of many nations. He was there making sport. He was playing. 10. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. Wherefore, and that's the reason she's seen, there was joy and laughter there too. He was having fun, playing, and we'll find out this whole thing doesn't please Abraham at all. But Sarah now has asked him to cast forth this bondwoman. A bondwoman is simply someone who is paying a price at that time for not necessarily her debt. Could have been somebody else's debt. This is back during a period of time when others could be held accountable for other people's debts. Unfortunately, that's no longer the way it is. The Lord has freed everybody. Everybody's responsible for your own debt. But back to this story. For the son of this bondwoman, this one that would come forth from her, because we'll find out he belonged to Abraham, shouldn't be heir, shouldn't have no portion in the inheritance. Even this one even with Ishmael, or her son. 11. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight on account of his son. And this thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight. He had this son. Ishmael was 14 years old or so. And that's a period of time when there's great knowledge being transferred and understanding. And it grieved Abraham because Ishmael would have to be sent away as well. 12. And God said unto Abraham, Let it not be grievous in your sight because of the lad, and because of your bondwoman, and all that Sarah says unto you, hearken unto her voice, for in Ishmael shall seed be called to you. And God said unto Abraham, now once again this speaks, it's a voice of comforting from within. We'll find out. Don't let not it be grievous in your sight because of the lad. Don't worry about it. The Lord's going to take care of all things. And because of the bondwoman, your son and this bondwoman, well, they had been with Abraham a long time, and all that Sarah says unto you, hearken unto her voice. Because that's a reflection of his understanding. Sarah. Both perspectives, you might see it that way. For Ishmael shall seed be called of you, because it's through Sarah Ishmael would come. Ishmael's the son of Abraham. We'll find out, and this is where the seed of Abraham's transferred to the actual Shem itself, the name itself. 13. And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is your seed. And also of the son of this bondwoman of Ishmael, the one that heard the mighty one, of the bondwoman. This one, we'll find out, many nations did come from, not just one, but many. Why? They're Abraham's seed. He was the father of many nations. We'll find out still today, about any way you look at it, that's who he is. And that all goes back to Abraham. He was the one who gave birth to the understanding that caused everybody really to laugh, if you want to think about it, about all the not of gods. Those ain't gods. 14. Abraham rose up early in the morning, took bread and a bottle of water, and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and the child, and sent her away. She departed and strayed in the wilderness of Beersheba. And Abraham rose up early in the morning. So the next day, when the light's coming forth, he took bread as some substance and a bottle of water. The bottle is just a vessel that contains the water, and the water represents some understanding. So there's some substance, some understanding that's going to go with Hagar as she goes. This one of flight, the one that leaves, one that runs, flies off, putting it on her shoulder, and he does. And that there is the insinuation on the child, and sent her away. And she departed, and strayed in the wilderness of Beersheba. And strayed in this wilderness of Beersheba. That's the well, as we'll find out, the story of how this well gets its name, and how it got its, that well of Sheba, or that oath. Sheba also could be 7, and then we'll find out it's both. 15. And the water in the bottle was spent, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs. So all the water of the bottle was gone. There was nothing left. And the vessel which she left with, as she wandered in the wilderness, that's that place where the words drive out. She cast the child under one of the shrubs. To cast the child, in a sense, of abandonment, because he was 14. She just didn't pick the kid up and throw him under the bush. She abandoned him there under one of the shrubs, and that shrub is a sprout, a sprig, in a sense. 16, and she went, set her down over against him a good way off, as it were a bow shot. For she said, let me not look upon the death of the child. And she sat over against him and lifted up her voice and wept. And she went, she left him there, set her down over against him, over away from him, afar off, as it were a bow shot. That's a bow shot's a fairly good distance, for she said, and that's enough to, we find out, show the strength. Let me not look upon the death of the child. She didn't want to see, she thought he was going to die. And she sat over against him and lifted up her voice and wept. So she was gone, and while she was sitting over there crying, she didn't want to see the child die. 17. And God heard the voice of the lad. And the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven and said unto her, What ails you, Hagar? Fear not, for God hath heard the voice of the lad where he is. We'll find out God hears the voice of the boy, of the lad, this young male, of this young boy come forth from Abraham, which Ishmael. The angel of God called to Hagar out of the heaven. And the deputy of the Lord, he calls unto Hagar, this one that's took off out of heaven, out of understanding, and said unto her, What ails you, Hagar? What's wrong? Fear not, for God hath heard the voice of the lad where he is. For the powers, the might, has heard the boy where he is. So we find out the Lord was watching over Ishmael, this one that heard the mighty one, as well. 18. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold fast by your hand, for I will make him a great nation. Arise and lift up the lad, go get him, and hold him fast by your hand. And we'll find out by your works, take him with you, for I will make him a great nation. The Lord had blessed him already, and she remembered this. Her memory come back to her of what the Lord had already spoken. 19, and God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water and gave the lad drink. God opened her eyes. He changed her perspectives. He gave her a new sight, and there she saw a well of water. A well of water is always a place you can go drink of and partake of, this well of water. Well, we'll find out. She was in the wilderness of Beersheba, and we'll find out how this well got its water in the first place, or got its name in the first place. But this little well is going to be a place to drink, a place to get some understanding. And she filled the bottle with water, or the vessel with water, and she gave the lad to drink. 20. And God was with the lad, and he grew, and he dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. And God was with the lad. We'll find out that he would journey on, and he would grow, and he would dwell in the wilderness. That's the place where the words would drive out, because Ishmael is blessed, and we'll find out there was a little bit of this blessing. Every man would be against him. He'd always be in an adverse way. We'll find out. He becomes an archer, one who has the ability to bend the bow, show his strength. 21, and he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran. And his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. So he's going to dwell in the wilderness now, Paran. That's not going to be in Beersheba. Paran means that ornamentation, a place to beautify oneself or boast oneself through this decorations. And his mother would take him a wife out of the land of Egypt, and that's that place of graves, and snares, and traps, and this wife, his understanding would be a reflection of that. 22, and it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol, the captain of his host, spoke unto Abraham, saying, God is with you in all that you do. And we'll find out. Now we're going to change stories. We're going to go back to Abimelech, because it's around that time we'll find out when possibly when Ishmael would be married in the land of Egypt, that it would come to pass. 22, and it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol, the captain of his host, spoke unto Abraham, saying, God is with you in all that you do. So around that time, about that period, Abimelech, remember Abimelech, he's the father of the king, the king's father, however you want to look at it. And Phicol, that's going to be his captain of his host. That's the one that rules over his army. Phicol means mouth, like a complete mouth or a whole mouth, or in the sense of perfection, the one who does his battle, speaks unto Abraham, saying, God is with you in all that you do. So he knows that God is with Abraham. He's been informed that he's a prophet, and he's tried to take Abraham's wife, and the Lord's been revealed to him he returned the wife of Abraham. 23. Now therefore swear unto me here by God that you will not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but according to the kindness that I have done unto you, you shall do unto me, and to the land wherein you have sojourned. Now therefore swear unto me here by God that you will not deal falsely with me, or that you'll tell the truth. And this, that your intent with me is truthful, and with my son, and with my son's son. So it's going to be an agreement that's going to go on that's handed down. It's an agreement that can be transferred. But now, according to the kindness that I have done unto you, and we'll see thus returning of his wife, the sharing of the kingdom here, you shall do unto me, and to the land wherein you have sojourned. And so this promise to be fair and equal in this we'll find out, this kingdom. And Abraham said, I will swear. So Abraham agrees to that covenant. 25. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of the well of water, which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. And Abraham, the father of many nations, we'll find out this one is being used, has reproved Abimelech because of this well of water. Abimelech is the father of the king, once again. And we'll find out his servants have violently taken away this well. A well is a place where the water comes from. Water is always a representation of the understanding. But there they would water their flocks. And Abimelech's servants, once again, had taken this away violently. Similar, maybe with a great amount of force. 26. And Abimelech said, I know not who hath done this thing, neither didst you tell me, neither yet heard I of it, but today. And Abimelech says, so we'll find out he didn't know nothing about it. I didn't know nothing about this. Nobody told me, neither had I heard of it, but today. This understanding has just come to him. 27. And Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them unto Abimelech, and they two made a covenant. So now, here at this well, we'll find out, this is going to be Shavah, the well of Shavah. Abraham took sheep and oxen. A sheep, that's those that represent those that are the flock. That's the representation of them. They represent literally the flock, or those that are led. And oxen, those that pull, those that do the work, and gave them unto Abimelech. And they two made a covenant. And Abimelech was the father of the king. And they two, we can witness this, it's a covenant that was made. 28. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abraham takes these 7 ewe lambs. 7 is always a number that completes it. It finishes it. It's kind of like being done. It's over, and this is the rest, or this is where it rests in, are these ewe lambs. These ewe lambs. A ewe is a female sheep. They add to the flock, or the feminine, or the pleasantness of those that are led. And he takes them and he separates them to themselves. And 29, and Abimelech said unto Abraham, What mean these 7 ewe lambs which you have set by themselves? So Abimelech, the father of the king, said unto Abraham, the father of the nations, What mean you these 7 ewe lambs? What's these 7 ewe lambs mean? And we find that they mean these ones. He's separating those 7. That's one who's going to complete this of these ewe lambs, or this of the flock, this pleasantness of the flock, and that's what it meant. He separated that from. This is the agreement that was separated out. So to resolve the matter and to bring rest to the matter. 30, and he said, Truly these 7 ewe lambs shalt you take of my hand, that it may be a witness unto me that I have digged this well. And he told him, Truly these 7 ewe lambs shall you take of my hand. I'll give it to you out of my works. This is part of it. These are separated for this purpose. It had a purpose, that it may be a witness unto me that I have dug this well. And it's a witness unto me that I dug this well. And this well is that place where they was drinking from, that place where they was getting their understanding, and that where they was watering their flocks. 31, wherefore that place was called Beersheba, because there they swore both of them. And that's the reason that place is called Beersheba, or that well of the oath, or the well of 7. We can look at it like that, because it means both. It means that well where that oath rested. That's the covenant. That's the agreement that was made. We can look at it however you want. The father of the nations, many nations, made with the father of the kings. 32, so they made a covenant at Beersheba, and Abimelech rose up, and Phicol, the captain of his host, and they returned into the land of the Philistines. And they made an agreement there to well. Beersheba, that's what that well stand means. It belongs to Abraham. And Abimelech rose up, and Phicol, the captain of the host. So the king, father of the king, and this Phicol, captain of his host, this one that's over his battles, that rules his army, this mouth of perfection, they returned into the land of the Philistines. And the Philistines are those drifters, those wanderers. They wandered off a long time ago, and they wander what I call in self-pity. 33. And Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba, and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham, father of many nations, planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba. He plants a grove of trees in Beersheba around the well, fountain. And once again, this grove of trees, just like the trees of Mamre, we will find they would grow, and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. He called there on the presence, the Shem, the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. This existing one, these powers that are. 34, and Abraham sojourned in the land of the Philistines many days. And we'll find out Abraham, he sojourns there in this land, or the place of the Philistines, for many days. That's those drifters, wanderers. He there with them, he lives there among them for many days. Let's move forward to Genesis chapter 22. Turn and return.